really starting to realise it now?
I wouldn't really necessarily put it down to any one thing in particular. Just gaining experience, I guess, over the time playing together. Obviously, played together in the Queensland Open Pro-Am. A lot of experience from that. So, just slowly gathering that along the way, and eventually, sort of my chances came and I took the opportunities. I think everyone kind of gets, I might have had opportunities earlier on in my career that I didn't take, and if I hadn't have taken the ones that I did, they might have come up later in my career. But it was just, I think I was probably a good enough player to get to where I am now. It's just, I managed to take the opportunities when I did and capitalised.
I guess quite a few young players have a lot of placings. You seem to have a real hunger and a real clinical way of finishing off tournaments, like to win 3 big events in such a short space of time is really impressive. What do you put that down to, mentally, or your game under pressure?
Probably same thing again, experience, because when I was an amateur, I really didn't win anything. If you look back at my amateur results, I think I won the New South Wales Junior, and that was about it. I was always finishing pretty high up in the amateur events, but never could seem to get a win. And then I'd say I probably fell over the line a little bit in Dubai. I mean, sort of threw the playoff away and then got it back again. And I probably was never really a chance to win the tournament until coming down 18 on Sunday either. It wasn't as if, it was mine to lose for a long period of time. So I felt like I hadn't really actually, won an event until then. And even that, it was good to win, but I hadn't proven anything to myself that I could win, when it was mine to lose. And the Irish Open, I think, just buried kind of that idea for me, because, I led that wire to wire and gave myself plenty of chances to lose it, and still went ahead and executed really good shots down the stretch on Sunday. So from there, I just felt like, all of a sudden, whenever I got into a chance to win a tournament, it was just, I was going to get it done. And that was kind of ended up what happening with Bermuda. Didn't think I was really a chance to win that until a couple of holes into Sunday, and then you kind of get yourself into a chance to win on, going to the back 9, and it was like, I'm just not going to lose this. That was kind of how it felt, just with the experiences I'd had in the last, 18 months before that. So unfortunately, I haven't really been in that position to convert one since, but I feel like when I do get back in that position again, I know exactly what it feels like and what it takes to go and win a tournament.
You've been a real strong supporter of state opens and state PGAs in your rise. How important is it for a young Australian player to aim at those big 2 events in Australia, the Australian PGA and the Australian Open, to get them on your resume?
Yeah, I think it's a great kind of bridge. You get some of the guys like Adam and Cam and that back to play these events to, and if you can kind of get paired with them, become the weekend, or if you get an early pairing through the week, you just learn a lot from playing with these guys. And I just think you don't realise, how good you have to be, or maybe how good you don't have to be, until you kind of see it with your own eyes in front of you. So I know playing with Jason at the Aussie Open in 2017 for the weekend, we, as a team, we probably said that I matured and got experience of 2 years in 2 days. It was just that, that helpful for me. So that kick-started, my journey quite a fair bit, and giving me the belief that, I felt like I competed with him all weekend comfortably, and he was a top 10 player in the world at the time, and still an unbelievable player now, but obviously at the time was not far off world number 1, and I think he'd won a major in 18 months prior. So to know that I could, bring it with him, that gave me a lot of confidence to go and play through, anywhere else in the world.
Lucas, when you look at your schedule, is it a non-negotiable to come back from the Australian Summer Golf? Do you plan that far in advance, saying you'll be back no matter what?
I think it's an airport near here. Got it. Good. Yeah, I think so. I think it's a non-negotiable. I mean, I love coming home. Australia's obviously a great country. It's good to come back and see all your mates, and just even playing the golf courses that we've got here as well. They're just a bit more of a strategic test than probably what you're used to playing overseas a bit. So I enjoy coming back to play. Enjoy coming back to see my family and friends. So it's like, where possible, I will try and come back and play, I think. And it's just, the Aussie public doesn't get to see much of us either. We just, a bit of an enigma that pops up on the TV on a Sunday night or a Monday morning on KO or whatever program is here now that we pop up on. So it's good to get back and actually, see all the fans here in flesh.
Can I ask you quickly about the President's Cup? Obviously, that was a goal to try and make that team from a long way out. You were so close to making it. How have you reflected on that now? Was it disappointing initially straight away, or did you just move on with it, get on with things?
Yeah, I was really pissed off I didn't make that team. I thought I had a lot to offer, and I felt like my form was decent leading up to it. I didn't think I was out of form, so I was pretty disappointed when I got the call to say that I wasn't in the team. It was always going to be hard because that US team was so strong. So, the boys did really well to make it the contest they did, because, a week out, everyone, the way the press was, they were talking about it being a bit of a whitewash. So it was good to see it be a contest, and I'd like to think that I'll play one of these eventually. But yeah, it was pretty disappointing to miss out on that one.
Was that tough to watch when you saw the couple of Canadian guys, battling?
Look, to be honest, I was sat in a yacht in Miami drinking, so I didn't find it that tough to watch. But yeah, like, I don't know, they went a lot off the stats and a lot off the numbers, and those guys suited that golf course the best. So, like, you can't, obviously a couple of them didn't play the way they would have liked that week, and you can't really select a side 2 or 3 weeks out, or I can't remember how long it was out, but you can't select a side 3 weeks out from the tournament knowing that they're going to play well. So it just didn't go the way that Trevor would have liked for them to go. And it's easy to sit here now and say that I could have offered more than what those guys did, but they obviously think they made the best picks they could leading into that week with the information they had.
Can I ask, mate, the balance between coming home and I guess that release of pressure and that relief of coming home, and then the competitive aspect of these 2 tournaments that you want on your resume? Like, how do you balance the feelings of relief at coming home and relaxing, and the competitive side of it?
Yeah, so I came home after Zozo, so I spent 2 weeks in Australia then, and then I've spent last week here as well. So I've probably gotten the relaxation bit out of the way. The Tim Tams and the Palmers and the beaches and everything. So I'm probably back a little bit more in that mode of, like, let's go win a tournament. I think over the years you've probably been guilty a bit of, like, the season's just so long, the schedule's so flat out, you come back here and this is a break. So I think this year I'm a bit more ready to go, and I would definitely like to be playing this 17th party hole here late on Sunday.
Do you sense a bit of, big tournament atmosphere already building around here?
I've been here about 10 minutes so far. So I sense that Cam Smith is a favourite, and that's about all I've gotten so far.
Lucas, give us a bit of a history of your hole-in-one resume relative to the fact TaylorMade have got the $1 million hole here at the 17th, which is a short club for everyone in the field.
Yeah.
What's your hole-in-one record, and what have you won?
So Jamie Glazier will be thrilled for me to recount this. He's a big fan of all our hole-in-ones. So I've made 5. I made one in I probably made 3 that are like, actually 5. I'm not even sure, to be honest. I've made 3 that were like any sort of reasonably worth talking about, and they're not. I didn't win anything for them anyway. I made one at the Vic Open in a practice round on the, I think it's the 12th on the beach course. I'm not even sure what order it's being played now, but it's par 3 way down the back near the Barwon Heads course, and it's like, it just sits like, there's a sort of big amphitheatre around the side and the back of the green, and it was in a practice round. I hit it at a pin that I shouldn't have been, and Dom yelled at me for aiming at that pin, and then got up there, it was in the hole, so that was funny. And then I made one at Kiwa in the PGA practice round as well, same thing, practice round. I don't even know if these count. I was the first shot at that hole, so I'm claiming that it counted. And then I made one at Castle Stewart in Scotland, which is, they played the Scottish Open there in 2013. There was like, when I was an amateur, we were playing this kind of challenge, that's sort of been set up through the VIS and Golf Australia against, I think it might have been like against Scotland and another country. We'd sort of gone up there for a couple of days to play, and I made one with a 4-iron there on 17. Other than that, most of them just been sort of in practice around home and that kind of thing. But obviously, Jamie's here this week. Jamie hasn't made a hole-in-one. He's played golf for 30 years. Well, he says he's a single-figure golfer, but I've seen a lot of shots that would say otherwise, and he's never made one. So I know he'd be thrilled for me to make one here on 17, right in front of him, because I know that I'd be looking for him in the crowd to go and point out to him that, what do we win, $1 million? Or someone wins $1 million. So there's $1 million hole in one. Don't know what that means, but I'll be pointing that out to him as soon as I do make one, if it happens.
Can I ask, mate, just finally some world ranking points, top 50 in the world, you're only just outside. Is that any kind of a motivator these next 2 weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not really even sure what the field, what the points will be worth this week. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked at the field enough to know what it'll be worth, but I know if I win, I'll probably move up in the world rankings. So that's definitely the focus. Obviously, top 50 at the end of the year will get Augusta, so I'd love to get inside that and go back there again. I feel like my game's trending in the right direction at the moment. So whether it's at Christmas or one of the next cut-offs to the world rankings, I will be playing at Augusta in April. I'd like to think that. Obviously, I can't control everything, but I do feel like there's not as much pressure as probably what it looks like. So, yeah, it's always a motivator to get higher in the world rankings. I mean, it's an interesting one with all the live stuff going on at the moment, whether the world rankings still hold the same value as they did 18 months ago. But for now, I have to, it's what I can focus on, and the higher I can be ranked in that, the better I feel like it is.
What are the plans next year with the two tours?
PGA Tour and DP World Tour?
Yeah.
I want to play a combination of both. My winners category winners category runs out at the end of next year on the European Tour, the DP World Tour. So I would like to extend that and keep playing. I enjoy playing both tours. I enjoy being able to pick and choose playing, whether, the start of next year, I've got the luxury right now of, I can play some events on the West Coast and on the PGA Tour, or I can go and play in Europe and play some events over there. And I like the luxury of being able to do that. Obviously, there's some cool events on the DP World Tour, and some ones that are pretty special to me with the Irish Open and Dubai. So I'd like to be able to, not have to worry about getting invites for those events and just going and playing them. And DP World Tour were great to me when I first came out. They gave me a bunch of invites, so I would like to support them as much as possible as well. But obviously the PGA Tour is pretty brutal. The guys out there are playing 30 events a year, so you feel like, if you're only going to play maybe 18 to 20 on the PGA Tour, you're giving up a fair head start. So it's a challenge to play both tours, but right now I'm 26 years old. I think I'm in the best shape of my life, and got the best opportunity to be able to make both tours work. I'd like to try and do that whilst I can.
Okay, guys. Thanks, Lucas.
Thanks, Lucas.
Cheers, crew.